We are going to take things a step further, and we are now going to distribute before we solve an equation. So it says the distributive property applies to equations just like expressions. So we're going to practice distributing. So we do 4 times 2, that gives us 8x. 4 times 9, that gives us 36. Negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12x. 1.5 times negative 4 gives us negative 6x. And then 1.5 times negative 6 gives us negative 9. So it says now combine distributing with solving a two-step equation. Okay, so the first thing that we do is we do 4 times 5x. Okay, so that gives us 20x. And 4 times 6 gives us 24. And that equals 12. So just like we did before, we're going to draw a line through our equal sign. We are going to subtract 24 on both sides. We get 20x equals negative 12. Then we divide by 20 on both sides. And we get x equals negative 0.6. Okay? So I can take this right here and put it back into this two-step equation that we wrote. So 20x plus 24 equals 12. So we do 20 times 0.6 plus 24 equals 12. Okay, so 20 times, so I'm sorry, that should be negative also. So that should give us negative 12. Negative 12 plus 24, and then we get 12 equals 12. So we know that we solved it correctly. Okay, in our next problem, we are going to do 6 times x, which gives us 6x. 6 times negative 5, which gives us negative 30. And that equals 18. So again, we draw our line through the equal sign. We are going to add 30 on both sides. And we get 6x equals 48. We divide by 6 on both sides. And we get x equals 8. Okay, in this problem, we're doing negative 3 times 2x. So we get negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 4. That gives us positive 12, and that equals 18. We draw our line through the equal sign. We are going to subtract 12 on both sides. We're left with negative 6x equals 6. We divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6, and we're left with x equals negative 1. All right. So I just wanted to show you on this first one how you should be checking your work. All you do is you take what you figured out about x and you put it back into the equation for x. All right, so these ones are going to be using rational numbers, so give me a minute when I'm solving these because I'm going to use a calculator. All right, so we get 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. 1/2 times 4 gives us 2, and it equals 12. So now we need to subtract 12, or I'm sorry, not 12, subtract 2 on both sides. We get 1/2 x equals -14. We multiply by the reciprocal on both sides, and we get x equals -28. Okay? So on this side, we need to distribute over here. We end up with 6x minus 4, and that should equal 26. So we're going to add 4 on both sides. We get 30 equals 6x. We divide by 6, divide by 6, and we get 5 equals x. Okay, so I don't know if you remember, I told you guys not to freak out about fractions on the outside. So if we're multiplying by a third, I want you to think of, well, what would a third of 3 be? So 1/3 of 3 is going to be 1. Well, I have 2 of those because we're multiplying by 2/3. So 2/3 of 3 is 2. Okay, a third of 6 is 2. If I have 2 of those, then that means it's 4. And that equals 8. Add 4 on both sides. We get 2x equals 12. We divide by 2, divide by 2, and we get x equals 6. -2 times 1.7, so that gives us -3.4x plus, actually, sorry, that changes to minus 6.2, and that equals 4. So if we draw our line through the equal sign, we're going to add 6.2 on both sides. And we get -3.4x equals 10.2. And then we divide by -3.4. And that gives us 3. Well, -3. All right, 2 more problems and then we're done with these notes. Okay, 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times -2 is -10x, and that should equal -14. If we draw our line through the equal sign, okay, we're going to subtract 20 from both sides. Okay, that cancels out. We have -10x equals -34. We're going to divide by -10, and we get x equals -3.4. All right, last problem. This one doesn't have any distributing. I don't know why it's in this set of notes, but it is. So we are going to add 9 on both sides. we get negative 2x minus, or no, just negative 2x equals 5. And then we're going to divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, and we get x equals negative 2.5. All right, so we are going to grab the quick check that says, can you distribute an equation?